If you're considered the family passport carrier and you're looking for a new sewing project, then this one is for you. And if you're not because you don't have passports, then let this be a reminder to go get it ASAP. And then you can come back and watch this tutorial. A pattern is in the works, but for now I'll leave you with this tutorial and the measurements in the description. I start out by cutting the fabric from my outer fabric, and I always like to use a hair marker to create that first crease so I know where to start sewing when I quilt. So then you can attach it to your batting, secure it, and then go ahead and quilt it however you'd like. I chose diamonds. And when you're done, be sure to cut off all of that excess batting hanging off the side. And this is what it should be looking like. Making the credit card slots felt a little tricky in the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. I do use this little ruler and a hair marker. The measurements are shown right here, but basically the first one's 3 inches and you're going to flip up the fabric just as I did and create a crease, iron it down. Now bring the fabric back down and measure 1.75 inches from that crease that you just made. And the new crease will basically be bent in the opposite direction. You can do it like I did and bring it up. Think of it kind of like as an accordion. And then you'll use a ruler to go 2.5 inches down from the second crease to create your third crease. And you can bring that fabric back up, crease it, and iron it. And we'll go back to the 1.75 inches. It kind of gets easier as you go. You bring it up kind of like you would imagine the credit card holder would go, and you just keep on following that same mechanism. You kind of just have to start playing with the fabric because I definitely found this intimidating before I started, but once you get the hang of it, it comes to you quickly. And when you're done, you should have 4 slots for your credit card. And the last piece that hangs down, we're going to end up connecting and sewing to our little zipper pouch. So go ahead and grab the fabric for said zipper pouch and grab a small zipper. I'm using an invisible one. I cut it to size, and I do recommend just throwing some stitches over the end of that so the hardware of your zipper does not come loose. I am speaking from personal experience. As we do with all of our zippers, your outer lining will be face up and your zipper will be face down. Put it at the very edge of your fabric and then place the inner lining directly on top of the zipper. I recommend using clips to stabilize these and then go ahead and sew a line, getting as close as you can to the zipper teeth. And from here, you'll bring your inner lining up, grab your zipper and do your top stitch, and then we'll apply the zipper to the opposite side. So grab the zipper and place it face down on the opposite side of the fabric, and then go ahead and slide the inner fabric around because then you will place it over the zipper just as we did before. Then you'll sew the second line parallel to the zipper and turn everything right side out and do the top stitch on the other side as well. And you can go ahead and cut off the extras on the side of the zipper. Just make sure you don't pull the hardware off accidentally. Okay, so now to connect the zipper pouch to the credit card holder, just place them right sides together as you just saw, clip it, and then sew a line to combine the two. Okay, so take your inner lining fabric and fold that in half to get a crease to know where your middle is. Also take the fabric that holds the passports and fold those in half as well. Place the larger of the two down first. Pull the first layer of fabric up. Grab a ruler and measure 1.25 inches from the bottom edge of the fabric to create a crease. We're gonna sew a line right here, and that's to keep the passport exactly where we want it to be. Then you can go ahead and tuck the passport in just to make sure the top of it is hitting below the midline. Then we can place the smaller of the two fabrics on top of the larger one. And then you want to make sure that the gap here is about 7/8 of an inch. And if you fold the smaller piece of fabric in half, it'll give you a nice little crease to which you will then sew over, to which it will look like this. Now combine the fabric with the credit card and zipper combo and place that right sides together with one of the pieces of fabric you cut of the same size, and only sew on the right side of this fabric. Then take the fabric on top and flip it underneath and try to line them up so they're directly on top of each other, and then stabilize them with some clips. And now you can sew over these two layers kind of like a top stitch. Now take this wad of fabric and put it on the unoccupied side of the inner lining, and you'll finish this part up by just sewing along the edges to help stabilize the blue fabric to the inner lining. And if you plan on adding a bow, I would recommend doing it now. Before we add the zipper, I like to fold the outer fabric in half, and I clip the midway point at both the top and the bottom, just so we know exactly where the middle is. And if you did want to add lace, I would do it now. Really, all you'll do here is line it up to the edges of the outer fabric facing inward, and then go ahead and sew it down now so that it's nice and stabilized. Okay, if you're still with me here, now it's finally time to add the zipper. I used a 24-inch zipper here, and if you're looking at it like, Savannah, this looks too long. No, it's perfect. You basically have to leave the extra fabric at the start of the zipper and the end of the zipper. That's how you're going to be able to open and close this bad boy. So just like any other zipper, you're going to line it at the edge of the fabric, and on the corners I do recommend cutting little slits. It just makes it a little bit easier to bend this. And next we will actually sew the zipper on, but I do want you to take special notice. We're not going to sew about an inch at the top and the bottom where the zipper meet. And I know I always tell you to sew as close as possible to the zipper teeth, but this time we are not doing that. For this one, I actually tried to keep the edge of my zipper foot aligned with the edge of the fabric / zipper. You'll stop when you reach the end of the zipper to leave that inch gap, and then you'll repeat the process on the other side. And voila, your zipper is attached. Now we will add the inner lining. So place those two right sides together, clip it into place, and you're going to basically sew over the same way that you just did. And make sure to still leave that 1-inch gap at the start and end of our zipper. The only difference this time is we are going to have to leave a hole so that we can flip it right side out. I chose to leave this on the top right hand corner on the same side as where the passports go. And then we'll flip the fabric right side out. And lastly, you'll do the top stitch, which is arguably the most difficult part, at least for me. And in the process, you're going to close up that hole. And oddly enough, putting the pins in backwards was how I was most successful. Do what you will with that information. You'll most likely have to flip those zipper ends back inside, and you'll likely have to hand stitch for the top stitch on this part. And once you've done the top stitch all around, you are done. Congratulations. Sorry this was so long. I know this is kind of a difficult project, but I hope you try it out.